But the credit was instrumental in reducing child poverty rates, and it gave parents some much needed breathing room. Then it disappeared. It went away. Democrats needed continuing this credit a priority last year, but Joe Biden was unable to get it done. He wasn't able to get the stimulus payments sent out when the people needed it most. Because now the Biden administration has released details this week on its plan to overhaul the current income-driven repayment plan, known as the revised Pay-as-you-earn plan. This plan is going to give people stimulus checks. But now, if this bill is approved, Nebraska will join states like New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, Colorado, New Mexico, and even Maine in having a child tax credit, everybody. And this proposal would allow a $1,000 child per credit for families with incomes of up to $75,000. Families making more than that could receive lower credits based on their income. And now one official even said that there is no limitation to the number of children that are covered, and it kind of phases in and out with different income levels. For instance, families making more than that could receive a lower credit based on income, and one state official has even confirmed that there is no limitation to the number of people that are covered, and it kind of phases in and out with different income levels. Conrad also said that the credit would put more money into the people of Nebraska, and it would give them the stimulus checks that pretty much everyone's been asking for. But though many lawmakers across the country have agreed to help the low income financially by expanding this credit, by giving people what they need, by giving people what's needed from the American government. And what's needed from the government is stimulus checks. For instance, the New York governor has already announced a plan to make government work better for the New Yorkers by transforming the way that people access services and benefits. In state agencies, the state will implement significant technological enhancements to reduce the hurdles and improve the child care assistance, and everyone around the United States should begin to be more worried about the United States and how the country may be going into a recession. Now, Senate Republican John Barrasso said the new spending deal between Chuck Schumer and Manchin announced last week is far from done, very far from done, suggesting possible opposition from moderate Senator Kyrsten Sinema. Barrasso told Fox that Senator Sinema felt blindsided by the Inflation Reduction Act, which was announced last week and shocked Capitol Hill. Barrasso said of Sinema in terms of will this pass, they need all 50 Democrats on board and in the room. They haven't had the 50 senators show up for work in well over a month, so this is far from done. Folks, we have a lot of things going on in Congress, a lot of development to talk about. Senator Sinema has so far remained publicly silent on the deal, which Manchin and Schumer announced just 2 weeks after Manchin said he would not support any climate package or tax reform given soaring inflation. The proposed $670 billion legislation, a scaled-down version of the Build Back Better, includes $370 billion for clean energy programs, another $300 billion to reduce the U.S. deficit, and $64 billion for healthcare expansion. And instead of federal level relief funds, it'll come from the state's general funds. According to state officials, individuals with a household income of $80,000 or less can apply for a one-time state tax exempt payment of up to $2,000 per household. With rising inflation and gas prices, the fourth round of federal level stimulus has been a big topic of discussion in the last few months. It was just last month when the Biden administration announced that it was considering two options as the official stimulus plan in response to rising gas prices. In May, Delaware began sending relief rebate payments of $300 to taxpayers who filed a return in 2020 due to a budget surplus. Most Delaware residents received these payments in May, and couples filing jointly can get $300 each. The state government is continuing to send these payments throughout the summer, and last month, Ron DeSantis of Florida announced that 59,000 low-income families in the state will qualify for a one-time check of $450 per child. The stimulus is being distributed through the Florida Department of Children and Families to residents. Governor Kemp of Georgia signed legislation to give out rebate payments of $250 for single filers, $375 for head of households, and $500 for those filing jointly. The stimulus package came under the budget surplus in the state, and the Georgia Department of Revenue has been giving out these rebates since May. But the agency has been also anticipating delays due to the amount of refunds. Folks, the IRS has just released a very important announcement in regards to future relief payments. Democrats and Republicans in Congress are now addressing Social Security with new legislation this month. Many economists and lawmakers are now pushing for a $1,400 one-time stimulus check for seniors to be passed as soon as possible. Americans are pessimistic about the future of Social Security, and the crisis has made it even worse. A recent survey found that 59% of people now worry more about Social Security running out of funding than they did before the onset of the crisis. And that has changed their outlook on one of the biggest decisions that they will make in their lives, when they claim Social Security retirement benefits. Almost 1 in 5 survey respondents
than what you did. It took about 2 million Americans before I was sworn in. 2 million Americans had been vaccinated. Today, because of the efforts what you voted for, we have more than 250 million Americans fully vaccinated. You all remember the lines of cars? Remember nice-looking cars stretched for hours and hours to Moken just to get a box of food. Well, guess what?
Exciting news, the lawmakers are considering monthly stimulus checks, and these payments automatically deposited for millions of people. Democrats are pushing for new checks to be worth at least $300, and now the child tax credit, which was temporarily expanded through the American Rescue Plan, had the existing credit of $2,000 per dependent under age 17. It was increased to around $3,600 per dependent under 6 and $3,000 per child under 6 through 17. Half of the enhanced sum was made available through monthly payments starting last July, up to $300 per child under 6 and up to $250 per child under 18. Families could claim the remaining money when they filed their tax returns for the year, and Democrats had hoped to renew some more generous credits this year. But the key legislation they hope to pass through the Build Back Better bill has fallen apart, and Joe Manchin is the one to blame. He is opposed to renewing the payments without additional work requirements, and it's all on Joe Manchin now. Democrats and advocates are hoping to get one more go at renewing the enhanced child tax credit this year. Adam Rubin, a campaign director at an advocacy organization that promotes extending economic power to all Americans, told reporters, "I feel better about it than I have at any point in 2022. A number of signs are pointing to new momentum. President Biden called the enhanced child tax credit one of the most effective programs we've ever seen at a recent White House conference, and Joe Biden also said, "That's why my national strategy calls on Congress to expand the child credit permanently. We'll get it done more this time." And recently released census data shows the credit expansion has helped reduce child poverty by more than 40%. That prompted Democratic lawmakers like Michael Bennet of Colorado, Sherrod Brown of Ohio, and Cory Booker of New Jersey to call for extending the enhanced credit before the year ends. The post-election period, everybody, could be a key opportunity for revisiting the proposal. It's a more optimism time compared to last year, as lawmakers are at a year-end tax deal to revisit corporate tax cuts put in place in 2017. A ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, a ton of news about stimulus payments, a ton of news is here for you on stimulus checks. Joe Biden can do something about this. First of all, let's get into the most important news. It's that Social Security benefits, no matter what, play a major role for your retirement and for the older Americans especially. Now, there could be big changes on the horizon. Social Security is facing a shortfall. A shortfall that could be catastrophic, that is. The program is paying out more in benefits than it's receiving from taxes. If lawmakers don't find a solution soon, things could get nasty.